Now, 4 years ago, Chambers and Shane Nicholson released their first album together, Rattlin' Bones. It went to #1 on the charts in its first week and then won them a host of awards, including an ARIA and a Golden Guitar Award at the Tamworth Country Music Festival.
For their latest album, Wreck and Ruin, they've decided to mix things up. We'll ask them exactly how in a moment, but first let's hear a little of one of their new tracks, Adam and Eve.
My name is Adam, my name is Eve. I was the first man to live and breathe.
Well, Chambers and Shane Nicholson join us now in the studio. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Now, it was far from inevitable that you two would work together again, even though there was all the success of Rattling Bones. So why did you decide to make this album together?
Look, I think, we always knew we'd work together again eventually. Rattling Bones sort of started out as a bit of a side project, but it was so much fun and we loved most of it and thought, well, one day we'll do it again. I think we needed 5 years away from each other to be able to work together again.
It doesn't feel like 5 years either.
No,
like
it doesn't
it's
really.
It's gone so quick for us.
Yeah.
We've been kind of busy doing other projects in the meantime, so it just felt like the right time, I think, now to do it. Either that or we're just crazy. I'm not exactly sure.
It depends what day you ask us.
Well, you might have been driven crazy by the kids at some stage. Can we cut to the chase and tell us how you were able to make this achievement while having kids at the same time?
With a lot of outside help.
Yeah.
A lot of outside help
Yeah.
makes this possible. I mean, for us every day, not just making an album, but touring. We take the kids on the road with us.
Yeah.
They come with us all the time because we've got pretty young children. And we just couldn't do it without help.
Yeah,
All sorts of
exactly.
help.
How old are they now?
We've got, I have a 10-year-old son, Talon, and then we have a 5-year-old son, Arlo, and then we have a little 10-month-old baby who's just outside there at the moment. Yeah, so she's
Poet.
going everywhere, little poet, yeah.
And Shane, you're really protective of Poet, aren't you?
Oh my God, he's painful. I
am.
dread to think what he's going to be like when she's 13.
Yeah, I am protective. Oh, well, it's Dad's little girl, that kind of, oh, look at her, look at her.
and I think we're seeing pictures there of you both recording the album and he's here with headphones
That's
on.
what it's, it really was like this hillbilly experience making this record, for sure.
It is. This is on a farm. This is Nash's studio, Casey's brother, and we make a lot of music, a lot of our records out there. It's a nice place to be. There's no mobile service, and it's nice and secluded.
Yeah.
But it is very hillbilly. Those pigs you just saw often are walking through the studio in the middle of a take and that kind of thing.
What's the difference with having kids and having the different perspective on life in creating music? Is there any difference to when you're young?
Yeah, look, there's a huge
Or
difference.
younger, I should say.
I mean, I'm sure any parent, says their whole priority list just changes around, the moment that you have children. And I think even more so when you come from such spending such a long time in such a superficial sort of industry, like where music is, there's so much of the music industry that's about image and all of those, and then you have kids and you figure out that none of that really means that much. At the end of the day, you come home and our kids don't care how many awards we've won or how many albums we sell. It's really all about what you're doing with them at the time, and it's great because it brings you back down to earth. Because we get carried away with it sometimes, don't we?
You do.
You talk about the music industry can be very superficial. Not Pretty Enough is still your best known piece of work, and so many women could relate to that. Have you now moved away, I guess, from that superficiality? Like Not Pretty Enough I wrote, it's going back nearly maybe 12 years ago now, actually, by the time I figure out how old I am. And I wrote it about sort of not feeling like I really fit into the music industry. Now, I don't know that I feel any different, except that now I don't care as much. I think, in your 30s, you sort of start, when you have kids and, you start to realise, what really matters in life. I was a teenager when I wrote that song, and those sort of things are important at that point. Now, I know that the world hasn't changed that much. It's still got all these superficial things about it, but I just don't care as much.
What do you want people to look at, or how do you want them to view this album and listen to it? Is there something special or different about this one that you've just released?
Well, I think the reason we keep coming back to this project is that we do think there's something special about us doing this together, and not only that we're married, but also just the way we sound together. You know, we've sung together over the years for a long time, and we feel like we've started to develop our own little kind of separate identity together, you know, and it's great for us because we spend most of our time making music separately, you know, and our own solo projects and touring separately, and to come together and do this, it's nice that it feels like it has its own energy, you know, and I feel like we've gotten to that point where we have our little thing that we do, and it's quite identifiable, and everyone knows that sound now, and I love that about it, you know, and we become quite protective of that, and I think this album embodies that a lot, and I think that's more than ever. And I think it's even more so than Rattlin' Bones. This album speaks to me more so than the last one, because I think we're 5 years further down the track, and it's a bit deeper, the record. It's a bit more from us. There's more of us in the record, I think. You know?
Because Shane, you've said that a lot of this record was about choosing the feeling over the song. What exactly did you mean by that?
Well, we were just we didn't have a concept for the album. We didn't have a theme. There's no lyric, you know, kind of theme that runs through the record. There's no thread. The only concept we had was we wanted it to feel spontaneous and fun, and we just worked really hard to not work, if that makes sense. We spent 6 days in the studio with the new band we put together, but we only worked for half that time, really, didn't we? It was all just about that capturing a moment, you know, and not about getting things right.
We'd play a song and then we'd go fishing down at the creek for an hour, and then we'd go for a ride on the motorbike, or, you know, and then we'd hang out with the kids for a little while, and then we'd come back in the studio and go, oh, we'd better do a bit of work, and we'd play a song, but we wouldn't play it 20 times to get it right. We'd play it to the band once, and then we'd all go in and jam it together and have a whole lot of fun. And it does mean there's warts and all on this record, you know. I mean, it's not perfect all the way through. You know, there are dodgy moments.
I would use the term
but they're magic.
Organic.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Not dodgy, organic. I like that.
But I wanted to ask you, you're both off to the United States soon, but you're not huge fans of the Nashville scene, are you?
Well, I think, you know, there's this massive mainstream country music scene in America, which is a long way away from what we do musically, and not really a scene that we feel overly comfortable in. And but we're heading over there to be a part of the Americana Festival in Nashville, which will be really fun because it's more of the alternative style of country music, which is, I guess, a little closer to what we do. And it'll be fun. We're getting to play on the actual Americana Awards, which is exciting, with some of the best Americana musos in the country. So we can't wait. It's going to be fun.
And it's the pinnacle for the world that we're musically, you know, inhabiting at the moment, and the people that we admire and listen to a lot. That's their night of nights. So we're stoked just to kind of go, just to be there and surrounded by all these people that we listen to every day.
We'll
just to be
probably
part
get
of
autographs all night.
I might get yours.
We wish you all the best with the album and with the trip. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.